Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program Question Answer with myself, Dureshabar Zaidi. Before we move forward to this program, I would send my felicitations to my viewers on the birth of our third fallible Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Inshallah, you will be able to watch this program every Friday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Today we will continue with the topic, our last week's topic of prophethood, the third most important pillar of Shia Islamic belief, in fact. Viewers, our telephone line is open. Please join us with your views. Your calls are very important to us. I would request you to kindly ask questions related to the topic. Thank you. Also, you can ask questions in languages other than English. You're most welcome. And thank you for that. Now, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce our honorable guest, the renowned Alimuddin MOLANA, Dr. Abbas Mirza. Assalamu alaikum, MOLANA, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And joining us for this evening for this program, and also heartfelt felicitations on the birth of our third Imam, Imam Hussain alayhi salam.
Thank you very much, and greetings and felicitations to you as well.
Thank you, MOLANA.
And to all our viewers upon the birth of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always keep us and grant us the ziyarat of Imam Hussain and the shafaat of Imam Hussain in the hereafter, inshallah. Inshallah.
No, MOLANA, I would request you to shed some light on prophethood. Or do you think would you like to say something about our the birth of our third Imam?
Yes,
or would you want to continue with the
as we are in the month of Shaban,
yeah,
which itself is designated as the month of the Prophet. The month of Shaban is known as the month of the Prophet, and a number of traditions points out to the importance of this month. The designation is also because of a reason. You know, the month. What we find in the character of the Prophet, you would find in the month of Shaban as well. As Prophet is the means through which Allah forgives people. As the Quran says, people would go to the Prophet and ask the Prophet to do astaghfar on their behalf. And the month of Shaban is also the month of forgiveness, just as how Prophet seeks forgiveness for others, just as how Prophet is mercy to mankind, the month of Shaban is also mercy. One fast in this month makes the Jannah wajib, as the hadith says, if a person who fasts. Prophet says that who would help me in this month by fasting, by praying, by giving charity. So if a person fast and act upon the sunnah of the Prophet in this month, it is as if you are helping the Prophet. So it is a very blessed month, alhamdulillah, and very blissful days. Indeed, one of the greatest of all days is the 15th of Shaban that we have. Prior to the birth of the 12th Imam, on the 15th of Shaban was a very unique day and night, even during the lifetime of the Prophet. However, it becomes nur ala nur by the birth of the 12th Imam. One of the things that I just wanted to quickly brief you on the 15th of Shaban, or the month of Shaban, which have the special nights. That is, if we look at the importance of Qibla, direction, all Muslims praise in that direction, shoulder to shoulder, with the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They all face the Qibla every day, 5 times a day. How much this points out to the reality that how Muslims are united, but what is required of is that they should make use of it. There isn't any phenomena in this dunya, in this world, that unites people the way how this Qibla unites people. As the Quran says, that Qibla is wuziyan lil-nas, for the benefit of mankind. Allah have made Kaaba as the Qibla so that it benefits mankind, not just the Muslims. So if you look at today, that how much Qibla, Kaaba, benefits mankind, in terms of the flights that it goes there for Hajj over the year, or during Hajj, for example. All the companies, they benefit from it, regardless of Muslim and non-Muslim. The hotels that are there, the shopping that the Hujjaj provide. So it's a very unique mercy and phenomena of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Kaaba becomes beneficial for all mankind. Now, of course, for Muslims on a greater level, where if a person more than 10 stands in prayer, their sawab and their reward is uncountable if they pray in that direction towards the Qibla. So there is a verse in the Quran in Surah Hajj, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands Hazrat Ibrahim that they should perform Hajj. For what? They should perform Hajj in order that they come to Ibrahim. So the maqsad is coming to the heart of Kaaba, not just the brick walls of Kaaba. The heart and spirit of Kaaba is the Imam, as Hazrat Ibrahim was the Imam. So during this period, the Imam is the Imam-e-Waqt, the Imam of our time. That is the spirit of Kaaba. That is the heart of Kaaba. So when we look at just those who are just praying towards the Kaaba, shoulder to shoulder, bodily, they are only united in terms of their bodies. But in terms of their spirit, they are not. But when the Imam will come, they will unite all of them in terms of their spirit. They will have one maqsad, they will have one purpose. But today their maqsad and their purpose is all different. There are all ikhtilafat. Some is Shafi'i, some is Maliki, some is Hanbali, so on and so forth. Because they are missing that spirit, they are missing that heart. They are just outwardly, bodily together, but in terms of the soul they are not. But if they create a relationship and with the soul, with the spirit of Kaaba, which is the Imam, then they will be united. Then they will be with one maqsad and one purpose. I think this month should give us an opportunity to really focus on the Imam-e-Waqt, on the Imam of our time, and create a relationship. Now, going further in the discussion that we've been having about prophethood, because time will not really allow us, because we have to cover a couple of more important aspects. As we said, that man have been created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as mentioned in the Quran, that He has created mankind and have given them fazilat, meaning that have sort of raised some of the ranks compared to the others, so that those who have been raised in rank must make use of those who are lower in their ranks. And this is how the Sunnah, and this is how the fashion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have really designed. That's why He's known as a musawwir, the fashioner. So therefore now, as Allah have designed it this way, and at the same time we do find that man within him have that capacity where he could trespass the humanity that has been given because of greed. As the ayah of the Quran says, that man have been created in a state where if good comes to him, he is heedless. He doesn't really care about others. But when bad inflicts him, he nags about it, he complains, right? When he is having good time, he doesn't really care about, he just care about himself.
Very true.
Right. But something bad all of a sudden happens, that he's always running around to really resolve it, talk to so many people. So now, if this is the state of man, then as they are, Allah have designated ranks as well, then the possibility exists that the man would oppress others, right? So therefore it requires that in order to govern the mankind, Allah sort of sends the law, the revelations by which they are governed, and Allah chooses amongst the people who are pure, who are infallible, to really fulfill this task. This is where we ended last week. In a very quick sort of 3-4 minutes, I kind of gave a recap of what we have done. Many of the social scientists, they say that revelation and prophethood is a very political phenomena. They were intellectuals amongst the society, and they saw that it required that there be some sort of law and order, and they sat or they thought about it, they contemplated about it, and then they came up with sort of some law for the community. But when we look at the intricacies, when we look at the complexities of the revelation and the spirit that it contains in the revelation, it doesn't really look like someone who is intellectual and just want to govern Arabia or govern a sort of like a town would sit and make few rules and laws which will only last for a couple of years or for a few decades, but not something that is eternal. That's what we see in regards to the Quran. Now, prophets are not men of politics, but they are men of God. God have chosen them because of the capacity that they contain within themselves, and through this they God sends his message, and like that to be delivered to the people. And now the second principle in Nabuwat is that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just, it requires out of his justice that he send revelation through which human beings, through which man will act according to the way God wants him to act. Three things: Tawheed, Nabuwat and Mad. These are the three principles which are very important to be linked together, because once a person believes in Tawheed, then he has to believe that God is just, right? It just cannot be a God who is unjust. It doesn't make sense. Number two, if he is just, it is very much required that he rewards those who are good and he punishes those who are bad. So when we are saying he is just, it is required.
We have to accept his
It doesn't make any sense when he has created the dunya and the world, he just left it like that. There's no question of reward. There's no question of punishment. All of the monotheistic religions, they believe in the day of judgment. Some might say or question that the Jews, they don't. As the present Jews, when we look at their scriptures or when we look at their faith, there is no concept of Mad. There's no concept of day of judgment for them. They don't really believe in day of judgment. However, this has been taken off from their belief. It has been changed. Even Judaism has the concept of day of judgment. It just can't be out of it, because Musa alayhi salam is considered as one of the Ulul Azm prophet, and a community or a religion without the concept of day of judgment, particularly a monotheistic one, doesn't really fit in.
Yes. Molana. Actually, I have one question on Ululism. I'll ask this question later in the discussion.
Definitely,
so
I will bring it
continue.
up. Sure.
But I will ask this question about Ululism.
So now, now that as God is just and there is a question of reward and punishment, then there is day of judgment. And Allah will not leave us, as they say, bila taklif, meaning that without any responsibility, that Allah will just leave us like that. And he will punish us without letting us know why he's punishing us for. So he has to send us a law, he has to send us a revelation through which we will be guided. So it is very practical, very logical that the reality of Nabuwat and phenomena exists. So that is the second way of proving in the books of theology the Nabuwat is proven. The prophets, they have the capacity, now particularly looking at our last prophet, as we had Mabas last week, as we were discussing, they have that capacity to really bring down the insights of the heavens, because they travel, their soul travel, and the hereafter is nothing but, it's not the dunya. Only what it remains is the akhirah. Only what it remains is the heavens that will remain, because this dunya will be will be sort of destroyed for the preparation of the qiyamah, right? And what it remains is the hereafter. What it remains is the akhirah, or the heavens will remain, so to speak. Heaven in the sense as paradise, So therefore, the paths the ways of the hereafter is something that is brought by the Prophet. He is the one who is aware of it, and he brings down how one should really travel towards purifying oneself, towards coming to a deeper understanding of the malakut or the angels. One of the philosophers who is known to be Sadruddin Shirazi in 16th century, he has written a book in philosophy which is known as Asfar or Arba, the four journeys. If we look at these four journeys, we will come to the realization of why and how an insan, a human being, travels towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, number one, we are here now, and there is a reality around us. Number one, we really need to know what is the reality around us. We just can't be here without knowing. We have to communicate, because we have to benefit, we have to take benefit out of it. We are insan. So when we look around, we have to really make a journey within the existence, within this reality that is around us. We really need to know what is this reality. Number one, that is the first journey. Now, at the same time, as we are aware of the unseen as well, like the realm of dreams, the level of dreams, those things which are immaterial, that has a reality as well. One cannot say the dreams doesn't have a reality. One cannot say some of those things which are unseen as love, for example, emotions, they don't have reality. Or the imagination. Our imagination has its own reality. So one have to really come to a closer understanding, what is this immaterial world that it exists. Then one enters or does the journey of the immaterial world. For example, the angelic realm, the malakut, as they say. So the first journey is within the mulk, within the creation. What is the reality of minerals? What is the reality of plant, vegetation? What is the reality of insan? What is the reality of animal? All of these different kingdoms, and what is their reality and what they are, and what is their purpose, for example, if one really looks at it, in which is awla, or which have the priority compared to other, as insan is known as haywan-e-natiq, for example. He speaks, for instance, or he intellectualizes things. So therefore, that's one journey. The second journey is in the malakut, is the angelic realm, to really understand the immaterial world and its reality. A person does journey in that. When he does a journey in that, then he goes higher, and this immaterial world really enters the realm of the divine realities, which is the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that who God is. Because he's from this madde, he's making his journey finer and finer. From this madde, and when he makes it finer, he goes to the angels. When he makes it much finer, then he comes to the realization of the asma ilahi, of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of the existence of God. Once he enters that, then he returns back to this dunya. When he returns back to this dunya, then he is capable of taking an ummah towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are the four journeys. The journey within the mulk, then malakut, and in the jabarut, and the final journey is that he returns back and he takes the creation towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Subhanallah.
So nabuwat is that taking the ummah towards God. So the men of God, the prophets, they come to a deeper understanding of this dunya. They become hakim. As they become hakim, that's why the prophets very intellectual, very knowledgeable when it comes to the dunya. If you look at the men of God, like for example awliya, this journey is for all. Obviously on a higher, as a priority is for the prophets, for us to understand. But even, for example, if you look at the imams, Amirul Mu'mineen, the specific explanation of creatures like the peacock, the creation of peacock, the birds, the bat, how specific that Hazrat Amir have described. There's worldly things, right? Then the specific details of barzakh, the immaterial world, the specific detail of the angels, the different names and what they are, and their designation, what they are supposed to do, and the relationship of them with the dunya. Then about the jabarut, then in regards to the asma, in regards to the names, in regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, who is Allah, Rahman, Rahim, Salam, Malik, Musawwir, Bari, Khaliq, all of these divine names and how they interact with each other and what is the purpose of that. And then finally, when a person reaches to that level, he has the capability to really take a certain amount of people towards God. And this Asfar-e Arba, this 4 journeys, is for all human beings. They go through they go through these journeys all the time. And for example, as one of the scholars from America himself, I think Sayyid Hussein Nasr, in one of the articles mentions that Imam Khomeini was one of them who have conquered all of these 4 journeys. He was capable to really accomplish these 4 journeys. And Ayatollah Jawadi Amali as well, in his book called Bunyanun Marsus, in which he mentions that Imam Khomeini had that capacity to really accomplish all these 4 journeys. And that's why we see that impact today.
MashaAllah, Maulana, very well explained, and I'm sure our viewers have benefited from your discussion. MashaAllah, very beautifully explained. We'll take a short break, Maulana, and okay, viewers, we'll take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.